I like blink-182. And before I say anything else in this video, I seriously love both former member and co-band creator Tom DeLonge and his replacement Matt Skiba and their respective sound and contributions to the band. They both synergize with Mark Hoppus wonderfully, and I love them both equally. Also, a quick thing about Travis Barker, his drumming with Blink-182 is some of my favorite drumming anywhere. His hits are so precise. I can hear every strike, and I can practically visualize the sheet music in my head. So, in short, they're all great. Now, my journey with the band has been a bit backwards, you could say. So, here's their albums, and yeah, I know there's the original Buddha, but it's not Blink-182. It's clearly by Blink. So, anyway, I'll say here's Blink-182's first album, Cheshire Cat. Here's their most popular album, Enema of the State. And while I knew of some of their big hits, here's the first Blink-182 album I ever listened to, and the music that got me into the band. Their latest album at the time of this recording, 9. So, while I like all of their music, I'm definitely partial to their later stuff, especially Dogs Eating Dogs. And while that may be weird to some Blink fans, I'll talk about why a little bit later. So I've seen pop punk in general, and pop punk bands like Blink-182 specifically, be criticized for being too angsty or sounding too whiny. And while I understand why people can feel that way, I think it's because they only look at the surface layer of things. Because there's a lot to unpack underneath it all. All music is an exploration of emotion. And a big part of pop punk bands like Blink-182 is not filtering out angsty emotions. And while some might cringe at that, think, we all experience angst all the time. We just usually either filter it before it shows or keep it suppressed, because sometimes it can be viewed as immature if a person shows those certain feelings. So, Blink-182 exploring those common angsty emotions, to me, makes them relatable. I think maybe even if you don't want to relate to them. Because, have you ever felt overwhelmed but comforted by a loved one? Have you ever known something bad was coming and wanted to avoid it? Have you ever been desperate to change something that you couldn't? Have you ever felt anxious about a date? Or been afraid of being alone, or simply just wished for better times? Of course, these are universal feelings. And in this way, their music is not just relatable, but it can also be cathartic. If we don't feel comfortable fully expressing ourselves, or we don't know how, Blink-182's music can help us know what words can describe what we feel. Or at the very least, we can know someone else feels the same as we do. And I think that's something that's always drawn people to musical artists, both past and present. And that's why I like a lot of Blink-182's new stuff more than I like their old stuff, because I identify with it more. I was never an angsty teenager. I didn't party, my parents are still together, and being married myself now, I don't go on any new first dates. But I'm definitely an angsty adult. I worry about the future. I feel at odds with both generations before and after me, and I am definitely cynical. Another thing I love about Blink-182 is they have some really fantastic lyrics. You can even say they have genius lyrics. But, so, for example, this line from Boxing Day. We can reignite like fireflies, like an atom bomb at all hours. It tells you everything you need to know about the relationship by showing the good and the ugly of it, by contrasting beautiful, gentle fireflies with the destruction of an ever-exploding atomic bomb. This line from Dogs Eating Dogs, "We need to find some middle ground, it's always sex or suicide," is another great line that illustrates basically the same thing. Their classic song, "I Miss You," has great lines like, "We'll have Halloween on Christmas." First of all, it's a clever callback to a previous line about Jack and Sally from The Nightmare Before Christmas, the Disney movie that, makes up half of Hot Topics merchandise. But the line also explains how the narrator feels about the relationship. Imagine a family Christmas party, but you're in a terrible relationship. Everyone wants to be happy, and so you have to put a mask on. Pretend to be happy. A mask like on Halloween. And he loves and misses her so much that, he wants the relationship regardless of that. And what is probably my favorite line in any Blink-182 song is the opening line to their song Happy Days off of the album 9. "Hey kid, don't quit your daydream yet." Now, this seems like a pretty generic and cliche line, but this gave me hope during some pretty hard times in my life. For me, the "yet" at the end of it transforms it from a generic line into an empowering one. Continuing with something that has no end in sight can be exhausting, but that "yet" makes it feel so doable, and it did for me. And so, for me, that's what I like most about Blink-182. Throughout all of the angst and noise and silliness, there's always hope. Whether in the lyrics or the music or both. And everything else aside, when I listen to them, I feel like everything's going to be okay. And they'll always have a special place in my heart for that. So, yeah, those are just some of the reasons I like Blink-182. I highly recommend that you listen to them for yourselves to see firsthand why I like them so much. I've linked their Spotify and Google Play and Amazon Music in the description. Now, you go ahead and tell me in the comments what you think about Blink-182 and why. Don't forget to do stuff, and I'll see you later. Peace.